Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're reviewing a Toyota Sequoia SR5. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with this SR5. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 3.4-liter V6 paired to a hybrid and a 10-speed. Fuel economy is 19 around town, 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 437 horsepower and then 583 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So first off, this Sequoia is finished in Lunar Rock, which is a pretty cool color. Of course, I have your hybrid badge, and Sequoias, all of them are hybrids. Now you've got, say, a more modest light design and definitely more modest grille design, which I think works really well. This has parking sensors and fog lights. You got an air dam. Those are easy to remove if you don't want them. It does help out with fuel economy a bit, but front end looks good with that Lunar Rock. Our tire wheel setup is 265 by 70 by 18, and you can see that the wheels a little bit more basic with the silver coloration there. Got these nice fender flares, a little splash guard there at the bottom. Fixed side steps, which help out getting in and out. Got chrome trim there at the bottom of the windows. And other than the fender flares, most of the elements are actually nice painted and all of that. Now this leads us to the key fob. You guys can see we've got our lock and unlock function. We got the opening here for the rear hatch, and pretty good setup overall. Now popping into the rear, yes, we've got this whole situation here. So again, because this is a hybrid, you got the battery in the back, which does push things up a bit. You have this shelf system which you can move to make it so it's flat all the way across. You can also move these seats backwards and forwards as well to change things. They power raise up and down. Also have cup holders in the back. The biggest downside I see with the third row is because everything's pushed up, your legs are pushed up, so it does affect kind of like your overall comfort there in the back, having everything pushed up so high. But anyways, when you're all done, just boom. Pretty cool looking taillights. That little black button right there pops open the rear glass just like a Tahoe. Sequoia badge down below. More parking sensors as well. And there's the rest of the rear. Now this leads us inside where you've got some soft touch there on the door panel. And this actually has the upgraded seats, so not like cloth. So I think that's a nice little addition. And then popping in, legroom's pretty good. Got a little storage pocket. Got some cup holders here in the back. We got our own climate zone, USB ports as well. And then some vents up top, and headroom's pretty good for the second row. This leads us up front where we've got some soft touch here at the very top. Down below as well, we've got all of our window controls. The mirrors do power fold in. They've got blind spot monitoring. 1420 is the payload capacity with this. And then, yeah, nice. With the trim, we've got power adjustments for the driver. You can see we've got a heated steering wheel here, gas cap release, steering wheel is manually adjustable, and you got some soft touch on the dash. And let's start her up. So I've got Toyota's new steering wheel with the fake stitching around the airbag cover. Looks fancy though. You've got controls for the center stack, voice command, volume controls, nice trim around the rest of the steering wheel. Got adaptive cruise control as well. Regular stocks there on the back. Full digital gauge cluster here, which will show the drive modes that you can go through. You can also customize the information that's displayed here. That's the nice thing about digital. And some people complain about the graphics, but old school graphics supposed to be more reliable. We've got a 360 camera system with this. So you have a bunch of different angles. So definitely a nice feature. I don't think they offered that at all in the previous gen Sequoia, if I remember right. But anyways, quick response time with the infotainment system itself. Giant screen, by the way. And then down below we've got our climate controls. So tri-zone climate, and you also have heated seats with this as well. So the camera, your stability control, and then hazard lights, all in this area. But it's nice they have a bunch of physical buttons for everything. Shifter there for the 10-speed. Part-time four-wheel drive system with four-wheel low. You guys won't be able to see there's so much glare here. But we do have our drive mode selector and tow haul mode. Got the little window here at the center console. Good storage overall. Nice trim, I think, on the top. And then we do have a sunroof up top too. So here's a running sticker for this Sequoia. You can see this has the premium package, which adds quite a few features, and it's $2,600 bucks. But base MSRP is still $65K. Total MSRP after destination and everything is $70,693. And let's see how it performs. And let's start her up. Sequoia TRD. Just kidding. Not TRD. I wish. Those are the fun ones. Really, the TRD Pro Sequoia is actually pretty cool. It's kind of like a Raptor SUV in a way. But man, this new generation Sequoia is so controversial, let me tell you. Because it's hybrid only. And it also has a so the previous gen Sequoia, my wife and I have one. V8 independent suspension all around. This is a hybrid with the solid rear axle. So you went from having like a perfectly flat load floor in the back, tons of space in the third row and storage and all that, to this that has like the janky storage system that, yeah, it's people keep trying to tell me that it works, and it's like, yeah, you can get used to it, but it's not as good. Like objectively, it's not as user-friendly. And you know, honestly, I think it's kind of weird they went for a solid rear axle on this new Sequoia. I understand why they, you know, did that for the TRD Pro and everything, but just for the regular Sequoia, I think they should have stuck with independent suspension, personally. Now this engine is a treat. It's got tons of low-end torque in base format. The hybrid adds an extra layer, and so you just have so much low end to grab from. It's very impressive. It's probably, I'm not a huge fan of turbo V6s in general because they're not as smooth as inline 6s, but it's still probably one of the best turbo V6s just because of how much low-end torque it develops. And again, the hybrid really helps out with that. Ride quality is good on the Sequoia. Again, not as good as the previous gen because like the front end suspension's probably a little bit more comfortable, but the rear end solid axle, yeah, it's just not as comfy. And that's the other thing, is your rear passengers, they're gonna be bumping around a little bit more because of that solid rear axle. Man, this thing's so good with the torque. It's so fun. It's nice when you have so much torque that you just don't even have to go to 3,000 RPMs, like, ever. I guess, like, entering on the highway, you'll probably go up to, like, 3,500 4, unless you're going, like, full throttle. But really, it's got enough low end that most of the time you're hovering below 2,000, and sometimes you're going above, which I really like in a big SUV like this. It's much better for the driving experience, in my opinion, than having to wring out the engine all the time. And this is where I think turbos have, this is where turbos are good, when you can get low end torque like that. If it's high end turbo power, it's not as good. This, though, having it on the low end is impressive. So the Sequoia SR5 overall is a good full-size SUV. It's crazy to see where full-size SUV prices are nowadays. I mean, really, you're gonna want the SR5 with this package. You're not gonna want the cloth seats. You're gonna want these Softex. So starting at 70 grand. Pretty crazy, the world we live in nowadays, where if you want a big family SUV, and maybe this is part of the reason why, there's a lot of reasons why people aren't having kids nowadays, but it's one of the things I think about, because I think about, like, my parents, and they were able to, with not super high paying jobs, they were able to buy some nicer vehicles for the family. When I say nicer, like spacious, like big spacious vehicles for the family. And it's like, that doesn't exist anymore. It's like, if you want to have a lot of kids, it's like, you got to be rich, basically. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I think the average person here in Utah makes, like, individual, makes like maybe 40,000 a year, 30-something, 40,000 a year, roughly, if individual. And so this is 70 grand. And so it's like, yeah, you gotta be rich to buy an SR5. It's a nice car, though. Let me know your thoughts.